Jonstealth here, and today I'm going to bring you the best of the best of using the Void Gauntlet. So this is just me like at level like 10, I think it is. So this is really good spec just to spec in the beginning. So I highly recommend doing this. I'm clicking on the refresh harvest, so every time you take damage you also refresh your cooldowns, which is like one of the most important skills, so that way you could pop up your void blade again and then your AoEs again. So I'll show you in a second what that means. You can check out my gear, it's all intel. You don't have to go crazy with this, but like I like to go with intel and luck, you know, so I'm definitely not the strongest gear for DPS, but it's like really good. So keep that in mind. I could definitely switch the gems to like the onyx gems or something like that to make it way better and get a little bit better gear, but right now this is like overall pretty good. And yeah, like I'm just gonna show you me pulling with this group. So with this, one guy will grab all the bosses and then put them in the middle, and then every single person with the Void Gauntlet would push down the AoE effect, and then they will use like the Q to use the skull, like the orb that goes out and actually does damage. So right now I'm trying to take every single mob because you know, you just get way more XP that way. But ideally you want to take one, just kind of bring them more in the center, and that AoE that I put down, it does damage and it also makes your guy a little bit stronger too. So just keep that in mind because it's really strong, and you always have to be keeping out your void blade. You can just see I'm just leveling already 15, so this only took me like an hour or two to farm to all the way up to level 15. So I was doing some farms alone by myself and it was fine. Like you could easily take on like 10 guys, 10 of these elites by yourself, but try not to grab guys who are going to like keep throwing, like knocking you up down onto the floor, because that makes it way more difficult to heal and stuff like that. So right now I'm just waiting for this guy to grab a little bit more mobs, placing down the heals, and then I switch to my Void Gauntlet. I'm gonna put the AoE down once I'm in range with most of the people. I'm gonna take a lot of aggro because my spec is doing a lot of damage, so keep that in mind. You have to be careful like not to aggro too fast, because sometimes you get all the mobs to you and then it's kind of annoying, right? So but yeah, that's what we basically do. Just aggro the mobs down. I do recommend just to go with a group because it's pretty easy to just do it with a group, and it's just more easier because like when you're playing the Void Gauntlet, it's kind of tricky to get used to it in the beginning. And I recommend you have to be at least level 5 in order for your Void Gauntlet weapon to do some decent damage. So farm those 5 levels somewhere wherever it's easy, but then you can spec into kind of like my spec area, right? So that'll make it a lot more easier going into this area, because there's 4 very important talent trees that you need, so keep that in mind. And yeah, so we're just going to keep pulling. Lifesteal is hands down the best possible thing you can put on the Void Gauntlet. There's no other weapon that comes close to it when it comes to PvE, and you know what, PvP as well, because like not only that you put down heals, you can also reduce your cooldowns. You can shoot with the Void Gauntlet, the orb, to do damage and to get heals as well, and the AoE damage is actually pretty good. So it's really good. Like I find like the Void Gauntlet is so OP right now. Like I couldn't do that with my spear, or like there's like no other weapon that could come even close to the DPS and heals of the Void Gauntlet. So but now what we're going to do, we're pulling this mob. Like you guys should copy this too. Pull all the mobs, and we're going to pull them all the way to the entrance. So the reason is you get the most amount of experience as fast as possible. So and make sure that you don't really try to AoE. Let the big guy, like let the leader AoE first, and then you AoE, so that way they all just like can not spread out with the damage, because some people will get more damage. Like I'm gaining a little bit of aggro, so I'm trying to go back into the circle. So you want them all to be bunched in, because then you could just mass AoE them down, and just very simple and easy, and no one doesn't have to really worry about that. And the healing is going to be more easier, so the healers can just easily just put the heals in one area, right? So I always try to I just like the healing spec. It's still like I'm light gear right now, so just keep that in mind. So I do 30% heals, so I don't feel like I've gotten a nerf at all. Like this is just like with the life staff, I'm super strong, you know. So with paired with the Void Gauntlet. So yeah, basically that's all we do. And then you just rinse and repeat. If you want that experience really quickly, heal up your allies. It's pretty simple. And yeah, I really do like the Void Gauntlet. It's actually a really good thing. So you can see right now I'm trying to hurt my guy, like just right clicking, because I want to reduce the cooldowns and then go into the AoE, so that way when you hurt yourself you're also getting heals before the heal goes off, and then you just do that. So make sure that you try to spec like that. Because you get the maximum amount of damage, the maximum amount of heals, and you will do really well. So yeah, I just hands down like this as a spec. Most overpowered, and it's also really good for PvP as well, but more so when you're doing big areas, right? So like when you're doing like war outposts, you could go in probably, like I would say go heavy if you're going PvP. That way you can tank and you could do some good DPS and whatnot. So yeah, that's basically the video. If you guys like this video, like and subscribe. If you guys dislike it, and also comment below what you like about the Void Gauntlet, and what negative things you like about the Void Gauntlet. So comment below, and till then, I'll see you guys in the next video.